Thank you. When I was 17, my first job was working at the YWCA. And my job was to take these women members and I'd strap them into these fat jiggling machines. I became very afraid. I saw that these might come back. I would take this strap, put it around their hip, thighs, and butt, hit the switch, and they'd jiggle for about 15 minutes, sometimes reading a magazine. I guess you might call me a personal trainer in the fat jiggling machine fitness equipment of the early 1970s. I've been in the fitness industry for over 50 years, literally from the Jane Fonda leg warmer days. I've taught about everything you can teach on the aerobic room floor, high-impact aerobics. I ran running clubs, kickboxing. That leg does not go up there like it used to. Spinning, Pilates. And in 2008, I created a workout called the Ultimate Workout. And in 2010, it was rebranded as the Orangetheory Fitness Workout. Judith and David, yes, 7:30 a.m. class this morning. Anyone else ever take an Orangetheory Fitness Workout? Nice, nice. So the Orangetheory Fitness Workout is a science-backed, technology-track, coach-inspired workout. A portion of the class is done on the treadmill. And the goal here is to do intervals, heart rate intervals. And this is what's going to allow you to live longer when you have a heart muscle that's very strong. Portion of the class is done on rowers. And this is where you put power in your cells. We have these cells called mitochondria in our body. There are engines. As you age, those engines become very tired. I need more coffee. I need a nap. Rowing, non-impact, was a great way for me to stimulate these engines and work over 80% of your muscles. Portion of the class is done using small gym equipment, med balls, dumbbells, body weight exercises. And these are for what I call your outside muscles. And we do more functional and usable strength training. And then a portion of the class is done using TRX straps. So these are for what I call your inside muscles. So everyone just sit up in their chair, nice and straight right now. Stick out your chest a little, pull your shoulders back, pull your head back a little, breathe. Okay, let it go. Hopefully you didn't slump too much. Those are your inside muscles. The workout is based on the science of EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So I'm an exercise physiologist. That's a lot of fancy words. And all it means is when you can produce an oxygen debt in the human body, you have to pay it back over the next 12 to 24 hours. So the body ends up burning more calories. So this is a mega metabolic type workout. You not only get the calorie burn of what you're doing in the hour, but the 12 to 24 hours after. Makes it a very, very efficient 1 hour workout. Many of our franchisees were members, and they saw this huge orange movement taking place. And I'm proud to say that we have 1,500 studios open. We're in 20 different countries. The workout's done in 8 different languages. And we just recently merged with Self-Esteem Brands. I don't know if you're familiar with Anytime Fitness. They're within that brand format. And some other health and fitness businesses. So now our platform is 8,000 studios across the world and now being a multi-billion-dollar business. Great gratitude. Now, there's 3 intensities to this workout. There's something called the base intensity. And this is an aerobic intensity, and it feels challenging but doable, like life sometimes. And then there's something called the push intensity. And the push intensity is uncomfortable. We try not to make you do it more than 3 to 4 minutes, but it's uncomfortable, like life sometimes. And then there's something called the all-out intensity. And this we only do for a minute. We don't want you doing it for more than a minute. Big hit. It's very, very uncomfortable. Like life sometimes. So when I was in my early 40s, I had built my forte in fitness to just this great place. I managed a high-end fitness spa in Miami. I was doing fitness tips on Fox News. I was writing articles for the Miami Herald. I was doing celebrity boot camps in this job. Yay! I had made it. Isn't it funny how you recall such detail to certain aspects of your life and you can't recall any of others? I remember this particular morning I had got up. I was a single parent living in Fort Lauderdale. I got my 9-year-old off to school. I had on a pink blazer and a black pair of pants. And I was listening and I was driving into my job in Miami in my cassette player, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I pulled into my parking space, waving to my members as they were going in for the morning workout. Went into my office and there was a note on my desk. My boss wanted to see me in his office. So I went in and I sat down and I looked up at him and he said, "Ellen, we have to let you go today." I was devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I don't remember driving home that day. I got up the next morning and I realized I only had 2 options. I could climb back under the covers with my favorite ice cream, or I could decide to push through this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce to you today the 3 keys that got me from that place there to where I am today. The first key, momentum shift. You see, there's something that sports psychologists use with coaches and teams. Now, you could momentum shift up positively or shift down negatively. I'll give you an example. So sports psychologists will work with coaches and say, your player is not performing at the level you want. Your team is not performing at the level you want. Don't keep reminding them of what they're doing wrong. Instead, focus on what they do right. Why did you draft them in the first place? Remind them of their talent. You see, momentum shifting up is focusing on what you have, what you do well, not what you don't have and don't do well. My father was a phys ed teacher and football coach at my local high school in Niagara Falls, New York. He was actually drafted by the Toronto Argonauts in the 1940s to play professional football, but instead he accepted a full college scholarship in Buffalo because, you see, he'd be the only child of 8 children from an Italian immigrant family to get a college education, and this was important to him. My father very much lived by this momentum shift up theory. I guess we're into theories in my family. I often say he didn't parent my sister, myself, and my 2 brothers. He coached us through life. And I was so proud when a couple years ago, the football field that he spent his entire life coaching in the small town of Niagara Falls, New York, is now named after him, the Art Calandrelli Football Stadium. Dad, I got ya. I'll never forget the first time my father taught me about momentum shifting up. I was 8 years old, and my father entered me into an ice skating race. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was far from a seasoned ice skater, but okay. Anyone got an Italian mother out there? Something goes on with Italian mothers that they think the cold is going to do great harm to their children. So my mother not only layered me in layers and layers of wool clothing, she finished me off in a red nylon snowsuit, a matching 6-foot scarf, mittens, and hat. I remember when I got to the ice rink, I couldn't quite bend over to get the ice skates on. She had to help me out. Now we're at the starting line, and Beth Coffee is to the side of me. Now we all know a Beth Coffee when we were 8 years old. It might have been you. This is the girl or boy who was great at every sport, was terrific in gym class, and she is in a sleek black ice skating outfit. And I remember I was very preoccupied because it was windy, that 6-foot scarf was whipping into her face, the whistle goes off, Beth takes off. You know the sound of nylon scraping against each other? Yeah. This did not end well. Not only did I come in dead last, but I believe they were picking the cones off the ice as I crossed the finish line. And I look up, and my father is running toward me with this huge smile on his face. And I'm sweating, and that hat's tilted over one eye. And he said, "Ellen, did you see how you took the corner?" Momentum shifting up, focusing on what you do well, what you have. Apparently, I take corners well on the ice, not what you don't have. Now, let me get back to my story. I didn't have a job, single parent of a 9-year-old. Momentum shift up. Ellen, focus on what you have now. I had a Pilates certification, and I was a very good Group X instructor. I went down to my local Gold's Gym in the neighborhood, and I talked that owner into putting some spin bikes in his studio so I could start a little spin program. 12 bikes. This was way back. Spinning didn't even exist in the area. Then I started taking some of those members who were spinning with me in these classes to my home, and I bought a Pilates machine and put it in a spare room next to my son's bedroom. Yes, this is how I started this billion-dollar business, in a bedroom. And then I got busy, keep building momentum. And I bought a second machine, and I squeezed it in that bedroom. And some days from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. at night, I had 2 women pulling in my driveway in their exercise outfits, 2 women pulling out. I have no idea what the neighbors thought what kind of business I had going on. And I kept building momentum till I borrowed a little money to open up a 10 equipment-based station Pilates studio. Now I know, you're probably saying, "Ellen, that's a nice story. I'm so glad that worked out." It's hard, Ellen. It's hard when things aren't going well. My finances, I just got divorced, my health. Oh, I get it. No, I really do. So there is something you are going to need. There is an ingredient you are going to need, and that is support. So now I'm a little older. I hear my father talking to my mother about one of his football players, Ernest. And he's telling my mother, "Look, I'm really concerned because Ernest is starting to get in a little trouble on the streets." You see, Ernest's mother worked 2 jobs. His father wasn't in the picture. And my father kind of took this personal because a couple years prior, he lost John, one of his football players, to the street for robbery. And my father used to drive 1 hour back and forth once a month to visit John. And he said, "I don't want this to happen to Ernest." A couple days later, I hear him telling my mother, "I spoke to Ernest. I told him, look, you're a great running back. You've got speed, you've got size. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to get recruiters in to look at you, but you have to walk the straight and narrow for me. We're going to do this together." Many years, I'm at my father's funeral, and this big guy comes up to me, hugs me, almost picks me up off the floor. "Hey, Ellen, my name's Ernest. Years ago, your father was there for me. He supported me. And Ellen, I got a college education, a full ride scholarship. I got a good job, a good family. And when I heard he passed, I wanted to come to say thank you. Whew. Talk about leaving a legacy. Mine is nothing compared to that. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on in your life right now that you could momentum shift up think? That you could focus on what you have, what you do well, not what you don't have and don't do well. And what kind of support team, this is a perfect example, this conference right here, what kind of support team can you get around you to keep driving that? The first key, momentum shift. The second key, relentless focus. Now I open up this small Pilates studio, and I have heard more than once, Ellen, you are relentless. I think it developed during this time. Now the Pilates studio was going well, but this is where it is so important that we listen. And I listened to my members, even though my small little Pilates business was doing well, and I listened to my members, and they were telling me, you know, Ellen, we're not happy with our metabolic, our fat-burning workouts that exist out there. We love the Pilates, which are more for those inside muscles I talked about, but there's no fat burning to Pilates. They were taking spin classes, working with personal trainers, jogging for hours in the park, and they said, it's really not working, Ellen. So I decided that I would create the ultimate workout. And I went and found space, 3 size of that Pilates studio, 3 times the rent of that Pilates studio, and I signed a lease. I was nervous. This would take all of my time, effort, energy, and any money that I had. Anyone notice the overstimulated world we live in today? It's hard to focus, nevertheless, relentlessly focus. People can't stop looking at their phone more than a few minutes. It's a focus problem. I'm going to give you 5 little tips that helped me when I was creating the format and the template for this business, for this workout, that helped me tremendously and might help you. The first little tip: eliminate distractions. If you want to work on something, accomplish something, you can't have all of these distractions going on, making your mind very busy and think you're going to come up with any profound ideas. I had my son. I had the Pilates studio that I was still running, that little studio, while this new studio was being built out, and I eliminated everything else. And I said no to everything else. And I truly believe that gave me a very clear mind to think about some very profound things that are in this workout. For example, the workout is science-based. It's based on the science of epoch, of how our cells age, of how our body stays young and vibrant. I wanted to be a workout for everyone, because for many years in group fitness, I felt it was only for fit people. When I used to teach all those classes you saw on the screen, there were all these women on the other side of the glass that never came into my aerobic class, my step class. Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't follow that. So I created a walker category, a jogger category, a runner category. Yes, you can walk at Orangetheory Fitness. If you can walk, you can do Orangetheory Fitness. I created a category for you. That clear mind made me think of a lot of things, a lot of little things that became big things in this brand. The second little tip: words, actions, attitude. Ellen, what does that mean? That means that the words you put in your head, the words you use that come out of your mouth, those words affect the action that takes place. And the action affects an attitude And an attitude can be like a sneeze, contagious. It can create a movement. So the words I created, this is for all people. We got a walker category. So Lisa brought her Uncle Joe, who was 40 years older than her, to class, who did the walker category, which created words, created action. Uncle Joe came to class, created an attitude. Uncle Joe's out at dinner and bowling with friends. I don't know, this workout's for everyone. No, you could do it. You could do it. I go with Lisa, who's 40 years younger than me. You could do it. That created a movement. Orangetheory Fitness, another studio opening, another studio opening, another studio opening. Words, actions, attitude. The third thing is aligning your purpose. I got to imagine, knowing a bit about what your business is, that many of you are aligned with the purpose of what this company does and what you want to do. Now, when I started in fitness in my 20s, strictly my purpose was maybe to create a better bicep in someone. That was not when I created the template of this workout in my 50s, which was, I want to anti-age the body, mine first. I want to make it so I really build a machine that fights against disease that is running rampant in our world. Aligning your purpose gives you great meaning. So any of you sitting out there who goes, you know, Ellen, I don't feel with this company, I work a day in my life. Your purpose is aligned. I never felt like I worked a day in my life in my work because my purpose was aligned. Eliminate distractions. Think about the words in your head coming out your mouth with create attitude and action and align your purpose. The fourth thing, today, you cannot just show up in a company. You won't make it. It is not confusing to me that the growth of this company in this short time has happened because you're not just showing up. You're coming to perform, I call it. There's a difference. And that will even get greater in the future. And I tell all my coaches, I don't care if there's 5 people in your class, I don't care if there's 35 people in your class, you always come to perform. And that makes a difference. And the last thing is I created what I called an external sense of urgency. That studio was going to open April 1st, a certain date. I had to have my act together. So I created priority and timelines. So now today, I do what I call self-imposed urgency. And I live my personal and private life like that. Anyone else like that with lists? Priority and timelines. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you want to relentlessly focus on? Making more money? Your business growing? Losing weight? Becoming healthier? Having better relationships? Take that thing, eliminate distractions. Think about the words in your head coming out your mouth, which affects action and attitude. Align your purpose. You will never be great at something if you are not aligning, this is really inside here, Ellen, what I want to do. Don't expect to move the needle and level up if you're just coming to show up. And I tell that to all my franchisees and all my coaches. Please go work for another fitness entity if you're just here to show up. I need you to perform. And self-imposed urgency. Priority, timelines. I go through this list constantly. First key, momentum shift up. Second key, relentless focus. Third key, the power of believing I can. Okay, I finally open up this new studio, Ellen's Ultimate Workout. Now, the studio design of an Orangetheory is similar to my original studio, except my original studio was red and Orangetheory is orange. Now there's three, and those of you who have done Orangetheory, there's three different physiological templates that you will engage in Orangetheory. There's something called an endurance template. In an endurance template, when you're doing your cardio, they're longer blocks. When you're lifting your weights, they're more repetitions. Endurance builds stamina. You need it in your body, and you need it in your life. The second template is strength. We have strength days. On strength days, you're on an incline on that treadmill. You're going up that hill. You're hitting that intensity. You're lifting heavy weights, low reps. Why? Because you need intensity in your body and you need it in your life. Now, my favorite days are power days. Anyone else? Power days are about those short hits. It's a very short block of cardio, but boy, you're hitting the intensity. Boom. Tempo with weights on the floor. So in this new studio, I would sit behind the front desk because I like to greet my members when they were coming in. And where I sat, there's the window, similar to Orangetheory, the treadmills, the mirrors, and there's words above the mirrors, inspirational words, attitude, results. And right across where I sat, and I did not design it this way, but stay with me, was the word believe. So one day, one of my members walks in, April Kern. She walks up to me and she says, Ellen, I want you to talk to my husband. He does franchising, and this workout is crazy. People are talking about how lean they're getting, how fit they're getting. You can't get into class. You're on the wait list. People are bribing the front desk to get off the wait list. Ellen, one of these needs to be on every corner. I look up at April, and I'm like, April, I know nothing about franchising. And she left. You know what's so crazy about that? Not only was April standing there with the believe word over her head like a halo, but many times when I coach a class, I tell my members, hey guys, if you do not believe in your potential up here, I can't help you change anything down here. You see, I think we have like channels up here. The I can channel, the maybe channel, the I can't channel. I've got some great news for you. There's something called neuroplasticity. You see, years ago, scientists thought the human brain was a rigid organ, but it's not. It's dynamic and it's adaptable. So here's the best news. It can be rewired. So it doesn't matter maybe as a kid, a coach, a teacher, a friend, unfortunately maybe a parent told you, you're not going to be able to do that. No, don't. You're not good at that. And you believed them. And maybe even as an adult, you let in some of that wiring and you built a bit of an I can't channel. How you change the wiring up there is you have to believe in your potential. You have to believe that you deserve whatever big things are in your dreams. So April walks back in a week later. And you know, I had gotten some support, I talked about it earlier, from family and friends. And when I thought about why did I just turn that off and tell her no out of the gate, well, I was a single parent and I was a bit fearful, I think, of how would I financially do something like this? Well, guess what? Stop thinking, Ellen. We each put in $50,000. We never put in a penny more for this brand. And the 3 partners, which is Jerome, Dave, and myself, opened up a pilot studio to start it. I was fearful because I really didn't have any experience in franchising. No, I never had any mentors in it. Well, guess what? That's what Dave and Jerome were experts in. They wanted my expertise in fitness. Stop thinking, Ellen. And I was 54 years old when they came to me. Aren't you starting to think about retirement then? Well, I'm going to be 69 in a couple months, and I got a lot of energy. April comes in, stands underneath that believe sign. There's all kind of lights going off, rockets are flaring. I get her husband's information. We meet with his partner, and the 3 of us formed Orangetheory Fitness pretty quickly after that. You know, listen, I'm just thrilled to death and great gratitude for what's happened with this brand and company. But to be honest with you, I haven't changed since I was putting people in those jiggly machines of being passionate about working with people's fitness and bodies and making them better versions of themselves through exercise. So I get the most out of the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of emails that come to me that tell me, wow, Ellen, this has changed my life. I love the community of the workout. It's very supportive. I love that I could walk because I have not found fitness that works for me, and I'm deconditioned, Ellen, and I'm overweight, Ellen, and this is not going to work, go well for me, Ellen, in the future. So I could come in there and I found a home. Those type of emails are what fills my orange heart. But probably one of the more special stories is about Zach, young man his parents brought into Orangetheory. He was bullied all through his youth. Coke bottle glasses. Well, I'm going to let Zach tell you his story. Love that kid. The 3 keys that got me from a very shaky, scary time, midlife, to where I am today. Momentum shift up. Leave here focusing on what you have, not what you don't have. And get a support team around you that keeps building that thought process. Relentless focus. You want to relentlessly focus on something? We want to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. Eliminate distractions. Think about the words in your head coming out your mouth will create action and an attitude. Align your purpose. What's in here? No showing up. It's not good enough anymore. Will not work. Come to perform. And self-imposed urgency, priority, timelines. It will keep you organized. It moves the needle. The power of believing I can. Think big. Think big as a company. Think big as an individual. Think big. You don't have to worry about how to get there. That's where people go wrong. Why are you thinking over here? Get back to the moment. Stay right here. Stay in the moment. And just keep believing in your potential. And then maybe wake up like I do every day since the day I signed with Jerome and Dave to partner off. to start to build a brand, Orangetheory Fitness, and get up in the morning and ask yourself, why not me? Thank you, everyone.